Welcome to Can We Talk with Dr. Deidre Moss. My name is Dr. Deidre Moss, and today I'm joined with Belinda Wilson, President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, and I'm always excited to have her join me as she is no, she is able to get her words in. so um, we'll be talking about the state of education in the Bahamas. And at this time, I'd like to pass the virtual mic to my guest so that she can introduce herself. Although we know who she is, for most of us, I just want her to briefly introduce herself.
Well, I want to say good evening to you, Deidre, and to all of the persons who are listening in by whichever means to this show. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm Belinda Wilson, President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, and shout out to some of my executives who are also watching.
Awesome. So before we begin, if you're tuning in from our social media page and you're just trying to like and share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links on our page. If you think there's something that we should be talking about, feel free to let us know. We do want to hear from you. And so with that, we want to jump straight into our talk and talk about the state of education. So as we observe and we see what's going on in our nation, um, Ms. Wilson, what is your view on the state of education in the country?
Well, I believe that, first of all, education is the foundation of to build any nation. And although we have many successes in education and we've advanced in certain areas, there's still more work for us to do. So the ministry officials, the union, our teachers, our guidance counselors, our librarians, our teachers' aides, all have to work together for the common good of improving education. And I believe it's definitely not a static thing. It's something that's forever moving.
Agreed. And so recently we saw a report of the national examination results, which showed that there's only been 17% of candidates who achieved a D or above in the BGCSE's subjects. And that's according to our news report. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm going to give my views on it generally because I just received the results today and it's really just a summary of the results. But as I would have said in some previous um, public utterances, is that education must be able to explain to the public, and they should be able to give the details to the public that the BJC and the BGCSE is geared toward 15 to 20% of the population of our exam takers or persons who will be sitting the examination. And this is no different, as I said previously, from when we took the GCE from Cambridge. The high flyers or those who were able to score the A's, B's, and C's, they did that. And there were others who got the D's, E's, and it was also U, which means it's unclassified. They weren't able to even grade the examination. But what I really would like to see the ministry focus more on is expanding the technical and vocational areas or subjects or offerings at our government schools.
And what would you say to those persons who recommend that let's expand into not only the or let's
Yes,
do
so
You no, you were saying something?
Your internet is intermittent.
Okay. No, no, I thought you
Yes.
were
So
in.
so so
Uh-huh.
in expanding,
You can continue.
yeah, your internet is intermittent. Yeah. So what we would like to see is and actually I had a conversation with one of our technical and vocational teachers about 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and what he told me that I should express more in the public that technical and vocational subjects that are being offered, that the Ministry of Education should look to have certifications
Mm,
in those areas, not only in the technical and vocational those areas, but they also should be able to get the certification in those areas, which will
thank you. Thank you for that. Also, what do you have to say to those persons who say, let's do away with the national examinations, let's move into more let's move into SATs, let's move into those type of testing. What do you have to say to those persons who make those recommendations? Did you catch that, Ms. Wilson?
you're breaking up, but I think you are asking the question as to what is my response to the persons who are saying to do away with the
Yes.
examinations. Saying there are some persons who are saying to do away with the
Mm-hmm.
examinations, where the examinations have their purpose. So we're not saying that the examinations do not have their purpose. Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, I caught
You
that.
able to
I
hear me
think there's
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
There's a little bit
so
of a lag in between, but I caught of what you were saying. And
okay,
so I
so
just
so so
yeah.
we're not saying to do away with the examinations. What we are saying, though, is the reality of the results and the false hope and
Mhm.
expectations that we give, I think, really to the public that
Mm,
comes from education, as if, oh, these thousands of children that are taking these examinations, they're going to get A, B, C's, or the improvement has been this
mhm,
percentage over whatever amount of years. What we are saying is if you are going to do the BJCs and BGCSEs, yes, but there
mhm,
should also be a focus on the examinations for the technical and vocational areas, and those examinations should be where you get a certification at the end. What
okay.
we're also saying is teachers usually recommend who will take the examinations. And
Yeah.
I think most schools have really done away with that. So teachers are saying,
Mhm,
okay, we have these students year round. We've had this student for 3 years. We've
mhm,
seen their quiz, their in school examinations, their homework. So the teachers would know the strengths of a
mm,
particular student in a certain subject. So a recommendation coming from the teachers, I believe you will even see better results. But I think that there's so much focus on the examination results without looking
yeah.
at what all the different variables are.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And as we've seen the results, we've seen the results, and the report of the results. What do you think the underlying issue is when we think about the state of education in the country? We know that we had the pandemic, and we had the impact of that of the pandemic in our country. What do you think the underlying issue is as we see the report of there's some report of there's been some improvement, and then there's another report of there not being an improvement. But whatever the state of education is, what do you think is the underlying issue, and how can we address that?
Boy, there's a number of issues, and as I said again, for
Mm-hmm.
those who teachers would have identified or recommended for certain subjects, they should be the ones allowed to take those subjects. The technical and vocational areas should be expanded, and the examinations for certification should be added or implemented. And if you see they implement the examinations for technical and vocational with the certification, then you would see how great our children are with their hands and the skills
Mm-hmm.
and talents that they have, because children learn differently.
Yeah.
There are various theories. Ghana theory, which speaks about 8 different ways that you learn:
Learning.
the
Mm-hmm.
auditory, the verbal, the
Mm-hmm. Kinesthetic.
that's right. So
Mm-hmm.
so we need to build on the talent and skills that our children have. The next thing is education needs to have a a plan, and a plan
Mm-hmm.
that surpasses all governments, be they
Absolutely.
PLP or FNM.
Mm-hmm.
A plan which gives a roadmap
Yeah.
to where are we going?
Yeah.
When are we okay, when are we going to revise the curriculum? Are we going to revise the curriculum every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years? How is it that we're going to build out a professional development and training for
Yeah.
our teachers? What is the plan for recruitment and the
Yeah.
retention of teachers? How do we do research? What is it that we're researching? When
Mm-hmm.
we gather the data and the statistics, what are we going to use the data and the statistics to do? Because the
Mm-hmm.
data and the statistics should drive the changes and the revision that we have in the curriculum. Um, how do we allow our teachers academic freedom? Um, we went to Finland in 2012, actually 12
Mm-hmm.
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In Finland, they don't have a set curriculum, and teachers are not tied to a syllabus.
Oh,
What they do is the parents work along with the teachers, and they set
okay.
the curriculum or the way forward for their students for that school year. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of freedom for teachers to use their expertise, their skills, their talents, their strategies and methods. We're the
Yeah.
practitioners. They're the experts, the teachers. But a lot of times you're in a box
Yeah.
because you have to follow a certain syllabus and curriculum. It must be done in a certain way, in a certain time. And so definitely a plan is needed. And I was happy to hear that the IDB is going to be giving some technical support to the government for the National Development Plan, because the National Development Plan does have a education component. So hopefully, this plan will come off the shelf, and we'll be able to have it implemented, monitored, and it will assist education, and not just education, but the entire country in moving forward, but in an organized way.
And I like that you say that it should come off the shelf because so often we have these plans and we put all these things on paper, but in terms of executing it, that's another story. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we definitely need to put action into these plans. Everybody come together, they make these plans, but sometimes they somehow stay on the shelf. And I know you spoke about teachers making recommendation for those students who they believe should take the exams, and at some point I remember that happening. When I was in school, but I don't think that happens anymore. But how do you strike the balance between parents saying, okay, I don't think you should have that authority, or you should have that role to say whether or not my child should take the exam. I feel as though my child should take the exam. How can you say my child, cannot take this exam? How do you strike that balance?
Well, I would think striking the balance would mean that if a parent insists or they would like for their child to take the exam, then allow them to take it.
Okay.
But generally, the teachers would be in a better position to say to the parent, well, listen, I had Deidre grade 10, 11, 12. And when I looked at her grades for my class or the subject, she's failed such and such. I gave her homework. She's missed 10. I gave 10 homework. She did two. She was supposed to turn in some coursework from 3 months ago. I've not received it as yet. So the teacher would be able to speak to the parent, because a lot of times too, parents are of the view that, oh, my child is doing this and my child is doing that. And when they speak with the teacher who's with that child Monday to Friday and sometimes on the weekends, and the teacher says, no, this is my mark book and she's missed this amount of work. I'm still waiting for this project, etc. Then I think that the teachers would be able to show the parent that I don't think she should take this subject in BJC. However, when we look at this other subject, she's stronger over here. Furthermore, in my discussions with her, she'd like to be a nurse. So I'm thinking that, all right, she should then take the general science. Or so it's communication, and then it's also based on facts. So once you have your facts and you say to the parent, listen, I think she's better off taking this exam versus that one. And even if, let's say, the parent insists, then you allow the child to take it. And let's say the child fails. So even if the child fails, then you then to say to the parent, okay, she failed, but we have extra classes, we have tutoring, and she can take the examination next year. So you can enroll he or she the next year, or they can even sit the examinations as private candidates.
Yeah, but I wanted my child to take five BGCSE, and you only have my child taking three. You only recommend my child for three.
Right. So I
Okay.
recommend your child for three because I've proven to you that your child has two big fat F's in the other
Oh boy.
two, and they were carrying this F now for 3 years. So suddenly your child will not sit in an examination that is a culmination of 3 years and suddenly get an A.
It's just the reality of
It's
the
reality,
situation.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
reality, and some persons really have to have that reality check. Um, and so we have some persons joining us. Feel free to add your comments. We want to hear from you. Feel free to add your comments. And so, Ms. Wilson, are there any additional comments that you would like to add that we did not cover? And I know you would have been involved in signing an agreement recently, so I don't know if you want to talk about that. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Yeah. But I really want to say though, welcome, because there are some new teachers that are coming into the profession. So I want to say welcome to them. And I know they're waiting to be processed and to get their letters and to be assigned to their various schools. So I know they could be a bit anxious now, but hopefully we'll get through everything and get a smooth running in time for when the children get to school on the 2nd of September. So I really want to welcome the new teachers. I want to say thank you to those who are already in the system. And oh, summer is over. So we're back on Monday to the various schools from Grand Bahama to Inagua. So I wanna say welcome back to our teachers, our teachers' aides, our guidance counselors, our librarians. I hope they enjoyed their summer break. And I want to say um, thank you to our executive team, because we were at the new teachers orientation for the last 3 days. So we were able as a team to meet and greet the new teachers. So it took a team effort. So I want to say thank you to my executives. But I look forward to this school year, but I know we're gonna have some challenges that we're gonna have to push our way through. And yes, on Tuesday, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union for $20 million that they're making available to BUT members. And so the loans would be on, it's a whole list of services. So loans for property, for houses, apartments, or multi purpose dwellings, for education, vehicles, credit cards, etc. So we will be sending out a lot of information to our members. We will be having a mortgage fair on Saturday, the 5th of October, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're going to have that on East Street and Independence Highway, right at the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union's premises. But this is historical, and I'm really happy that our members are going to get an opportunity for them to own houses and land, and to even seek higher education, because a lot of people do not know that the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union was started by the Bahamas Union of Teachers. We started 47 years ago
Wow.
with 12 members and $90.
Wow.
And so for the child to now be able to extend services to the parent for our for the benefit of our members, that's very good. And I hope that our members, and there are hundreds of them who are interested in getting homes, I really hope that they will um, come out to the mortgage fair, and between now and then, take advantage take advantage of all of the benefits that will be afforded to them through this partnership. So I really want to say thank you to the general manager, Mr. Byron Miller, and the board of the Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union. And they were also with us at orientation for the last few days, and we were really pleased that they were there.
Awesome. And I'm sure that the teachers can benefit, the members of the union can benefit from that partnership. And so that is great. Some 40 years later, like you said, the child is now come back to repay the parent.
Yes.
And so and so I also want to thank you because you've also been a strong voice for teachers in the country. You've been in this role for so long and you do it so well. You wear many hats and you do it so well. So
Pray
I
for
also
me.
want to
Pray for
thank
me.
you.
It's not.
Definitely.
It's,
Listen, you
it's
do it
not.
so well.
It's not an easy job, but my heart is
Yeah, I
there.
can imagine. I can't imagine. It's definitely not an easy job, but you make it look easy and you wear it so
Seriously.
well. And so I just want to say thank you as you
You're
extend your thank
welcome.
yous to others. And so I want to bring us to our fast talk, and I want to ask you to just give you 60 seconds to answer these two questions. One, is there a problem with the state of education? Do you think we have a problem?
Yeah, we do have a problem, and we definitely need to do an assessment across the board. And guess what? With every problem, there are solutions and there are opportunities for us to fix it. So, those things that we can fix, I think we should just work together, get them done, and help to improve education.
And I think also that requires, and you would have mentioned that before, all stakeholders at the table,
Oh,
everybody
and listen,
involved.
and don't forget now, so you got parents and stakeholders, you got the general public, the whole community has to assist.
All stakeholders must be at the table. And so I promise to get you out at 30 minutes. And so we're coming up on those minutes. And so I just want to bounce back, give the ball back to you again to see if you would like to add anything else before we end our session today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to you for
Thank
always having your platform available to me for me to be able to voice not only the concerns, but even recommendations and the commendations for education, for educators. And I'm happy and really want to say honored to be your guest because once we stay relevant and we are there in the air of the leaders, the government, the ministry officials, hopefully, I pray that hopefully one day we'll have a system that we can just smile and say, yes, we've done it. We've improved it for the teachers, for the children, and for the nation.
Absolutely. And you are always welcome. And I want to thank you for sharing your time with us today. I know you're a busy lady. And so I want to thank you for sharing your time with me today.
Thank you very much. And I want to say solidarity for,
Solidarity forever. We'll be in touch, Ms. Wilson. Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Everybody be safe over the weekend.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to thank our guest, Ms. Wilson, for joining us today. She is always welcome on our platform. And as we head back to the back to school, as we move into the back to school in this month of August and September, this is the back to school season. And so we thought it was important that we focus on the state of education in the country. And so I want to bring us at this time to our motivational minute. And so I would have shared something on the platform this week that spoke to our motivational minute, and that let me adjust my camera. So we focus on a motivational minute that we spoke to on our platform that speaks to stop announcing moves prematurely. Premature announcements can kill the seed before it takes root. So this means that every move that you make does not have to be announced, seen, approved, or advertised. Sometimes it's best to move in silence. This can be difficult when we think about the genuine excitement that people feel when they accomplish something that they worked hard for or when they reach a milestone in their life. They may have found out that they are pregnant after years of trying, or they're on their way to qualify for a mortgage after years of renting, or they're about to qualify for a new car after years of having to catch a ride or having to use public transportation. And as much as you would want to think that other people would be happy for you, as much as you want to think that people would want to celebrate with you, this is not always the case. Everyone may not share in your joy and excitement, and they may even go further to attack what you've shared before it actually materializes. Just think of people who shared their dreams and their goals and their hopes with others for other people to convince them that this cannot be done or they are not the person to accomplish it. Or think of people who shared their ideas with others, even their friends and family members, just for them to run off with the idea and pass it off as their own. We cannot say for sure that everyone will react this way, but I can say that announcing moves too soon may not be the best decision to make. Keeping your moves silent will protect you from the input and interference of others. And sometimes, when you keep your business and your information to yourself, people won't know what to attack. And so that brings us to the end of our motivational minute. So this brings us to the end of our session. I want to thank you for tuning in and joining us in our talk today. We were joined with Belinda Wilson, the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, and we would have talked about the back to school season for August and September as we move into that time and season of this year. I would like to thank our guest Belinda Wilson for sharing insight with us today. And we want to remind you, if you want to advertise with us, let us know. You can also reach out to us through our page. Our contacts are there. We want to grow, so grow with us. For those watching via social media, thank you for listening in. Like our page for future notifications of upcoming talks. Comment under our videos. We do want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts. So let us know. Let us know what you want us to talk about. So that brings us to the end. Remember, let's think, talk, do. Thank you. Have a great evening.